Welcome back to The Buzz. Today on our Ask the Attorney segment, we have a very special attorney here with us who is returning back here on The Buzz. Annie, thanks for joining us today on the Ask the Attorney segment.
It's great to be back, Jeff.
You are so easy to talk to. Navy veteran, thank you for your service.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Yeah, it's what I think is very interesting is that the toughest of the females in the world are right amongst us, right? The ones who've actually donned the uniform and defended our country. And you will never even know unless it's like some kind of crisis, right? And speaking of crisis, that's what you do every day. You help families navigate through divorce. And, I know that you've helped people in my sphere of influence, and they rave about just how delicate you are with their family matters. Share with us exactly what you do and just how you keep impacting the lives of families throughout Northeast Florida.
So I'm an attorney, but I'm also a certified mediator, which means that I deal with alternative dispute resolution, basically helping families work through their divorce process without as much court involvement. So as a mediator, I sit down and just kind of, whether people bring attorneys or not, just kind of help people who are going through a divorce or a paternity situation figure out all the details that they need to move forward with their life and hopefully not have to go to court for a trial and spend a bunch of money and time and effort on that.
Absolutely. And you were sharing with me offset about some new services and solutions that your business is providing, your firm is providing. Can you share with us the new updates with since you've been here on The Buzz last?
Right. So I have a business partner, Michelle Broyles. She's also an attorney and a certified mediator. But she has also added to her qualifications parenting coordination, which is a really unique service. And I just love the effects that it has on families. Basically, it's kind of a more long-term engagement with, we call it high conflict, but parents who still can't see eye to eye despite the fact that they've got a parenting plan, there's a custody arrangement in place, but they're still having trouble. So Michelle steps in with her experience, not only as a mediator, but as an attorney. She's been engaged in the courts for 10 years, so she knows, what the reality is of having to go to court over these things. And she tries to help people through that situation without having to involve the judge, basically. So it's, again, another means of dispute resolution that is not court focused, and it hopefully will help reduce conflict between people so that they can go on and co-parent their children to the age of 18 and beyond.
Yeah, it has to be difficult because, I know we see people and we think everybody's life is so perfect, and then they sit down with you and they're sharing details about their marriage. Some could be true, some could be false. You got two different sides of it. What's one attribute from the military that you think you can point to that helps you navigate through the conflicts? Because it's not easy hearing both sides of the story, knowing who to trust, and more importantly, how to mediate from there without getting the courts involved.
So one of the coolest things about the military that I think a lot of people don't realize is how diverse the workforce is. There are people from countries all over the world that serve in the Navy, a lot of people from the Philippines, from Ghana, and I worked with those people and I learned about who they are. And I always, I kind of work from the heart. So, I like to hear people and hear their stories. And when you're listening, you can hear and read between the lines and really get to know people better and then help them find out what is really best for them, because that's the goal, right? So it's not just, can I win in court? It's, what can I get out of this that's going to make my life what I envision it to be? So you're painting your own picture, basically.
Yeah, and I think that definitely the first time you think about splitting from a partner, I'm on my second marriage right now, the first thing you think about is the court. But they don't have to go through the court. They can go through you first. Why do you think that there's just this miseducation that the first thing you have to do is to go to court instead of hiring a person like you and your firm that can actually mediate it without having to go that step?
Well, so there's media images that kind of portray what the divorce process is, and that's been ingrained in us since we were kids, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe some of us, like myself, are a child of divorce, and they know what that looked like in the 1980s or, what have you. And, people are constantly developing new ways for people to get through a divorce, basically. And the courts are gradually adopting these, more revolutionary ideas, I guess, about alternative dispute resolution. But really what it comes down to is it's a lot of hard work on people's behalf to be their own advocate and negotiate it instead of go to court. Because it's a lot easier to say, you know what, forget you, I'm going to let the judge decide, right? That's the thing that people say a lot. I'm going to let the judge decide. But it takes a lot of personal effort to decide for yourself. So, it can be really frustrating because people have all these stressors on their lives. They're going from a 2-income household to 1. Their children are maybe having a little struggle. Maybe their behavior has changed due to a divorce. So, there's a lot of compounding things, and it makes it one last thing that people want to work on. So, it can be hard for people to get in that mindset of negotiation, of settlement, of coming to an agreement when you're dealing with all of these emotions. So it's kind of an easy way out to rely on the courts to decide everything. So it does take a lot of effort on people's parts to be a part of that team with us to negotiate the resolutions.
And how can people get a hold of you to get some phenomenal information like you just shared with our audience right there to alleviate them spending the thousands, tens of thousands of dollars going through the court? They can go through you and just mediate it much better. How can people get a hold of you to do so?
So it's important that when people call, if they're looking for a mediator, that they not give me too many details, and they just say, look, maybe I saw your program. You can check out our website, beachesfamilyresolutions.com. You can give us a call and just kind of say, look, we're going through this divorce thing. We want to give mediation a try. Maybe your spouse is not on board with it. They're free to call me too, because as a neutral, I need to talk to both of them, right? And we don't want to get into too many details. But yeah, so they can just reach out, give us a call. We're open, we can talk and see what might be the best path for them. If it is litigation, some people are just unreasonable. So you have to go to the litigation route. We can do that too. Okay. But we, try to steer people in that direction.
Well, you've been phenomenal, and thanks for answering some of those questions our audience had about how not to go the route of the courts. And like I said, in my own sphere of influence, you've just been phenomenal with navigating through some very delicate situations of resolution in my own sphere. And I appreciate everything you did.
I love what I do.
For another segment of The Buzz, we look forward to seeing you in the next segment, and more importantly, to reach out to Annie Rodriguez and her firm that will help you navigate through mediation. Thank you. See you in the next segment.